afternoon. I'm very glad to meet the students of Gulu University. I normally do that a lot with the Morning University, where I chair the governing council of the university. So greetings from Morning. We always say Gulu is joking, we will beat them. And we'll become the leading university in northern Uganda. But so far very hard to what you guys are doing. Uganda uses every year 600,000 students who graduate from universities, tertiary institutions, and all these. 600,000, both in government institutions and private institutions. But Uganda, both government and the private sector, they only generate 40,000 jobs every year. I think we can do the calculation. That means 560,000 of you who come out without a job. There's no job to employ you, isn't it? Because there are only 40,000 jobs. So now that calls for the private sector to open up. We need to have more people as job creators than job seekers. Currently, only 10% of the population, they are job creators. The 90%, they are looking for the jobs. So if you can try to increase that population to like 30%, then Uganda will become a better country. Because more jobs will be created. Like for example, this room here had 30% job creators. They will be able to employ the rest of the people, isn't it? Because if one person can create 10 jobs, 3 people already 30 jobs. So if we can increase the number of job creators, the better. That is why my presentation is going to be more about job creation. How you can actually get out of the university to create your own job. Then to create job for other people, to employ people. Now, my presentation will be in form of more stories, live stories, so that I don't sound like a motivational speaker, so that I give you the real story of myself. Is it not better? Now, the story started some years back when I was in secondary school, primary school. So between our home and our primary school, there were some very stubborn boys. They didn't like to go to school. But as we would be walking to go to that school, when you arrive at their home, they start beating you. I think you've got some boys like that in your villages. These boys will start beating and they will come in a group. Then I'll go home, I'll be crying. Up to some point, I didn't want to go back to school because of these boys. So one day when I came back home crying, my mother looked at me and said, "Why are you always crying? Are you not a man? Don't you also have arms? If they beat you, why don't you beat them?" Now that statement to me was a call for war, a call for action. Instead of crying, I must do something. But these boys were many. There were like 5 of them. And they were bigger than me. So how am I going to? And that was the only route to go to school. But here my mother declared, "Why are you always crying?" So my father had a motorcycle. But before the motorcycle, I generated a story When I reached these boys and they started fighting me, I told them, you people, have you seen my arm here? I have only one muscle. The day I will box somebody here, somebody will die. Now in our village, men who had one muscle, they were very dangerous. I think you have it in your village also. I don't know where that story came from. So I sent a message clear to these guys that I'm the one muscle boy in this village. The day I will decide to box you, somebody will fall here. So when I sent the message, they continued beating me. Then, my father's motorbike, it had a spark plug. You know a spark plug? It looks like a bullet, isn't it? So I picked that spark, the old one. I picked one spark plug, I fixed it here. So the tip was like this. So I was walking. When I arrived, these boys, they really didn't care. Started boxing me. Let me tell you, I measured that spark plug. It landed on this guy's rib. The guy made some noise. He fell down. Everyone ran away. From that time, they said, this guy is the one master man. I walked there, he's 7, nobody touched me. They feared me from that day. And I finished my school. I graduated from primary, went to secondary school. But I learned one thing. Why are you always crying? Ever since that time, you will never hear me complain. No. I take personal responsibility. Now, later on at the university, when I reached my 3rd year in Gulu University, I was studying civil engineering. So I sat down and I said, my parents are teachers, and life has not really been too good. But how can I make life better? Then I said, I think I must be doing business after I'm done with campus. When I graduate, I must set up my own company. Sat down in my 3rd year, thought about it deeply. I think you guys do that. When you're almost finishing campus, you start thinking, what am I going to do? Isn't it? Now that is exactly what I did. But I came up with the mind that I must set up my own company. But in engineering, you are either a contractor or a consultant. Now for our case here, for these buildings, we are consultants. So I wanted to understand what it means. So that meant I needed to work a little bit. So I now told myself, when I come out, I will set up my own company and I will run it. But before I start the company, I must have some experience. So when I was thinking deeply, reflecting about what I really want to do, around that same time, I go to the next page, there was a very beautiful Ubara. That was during my graduation. I saw this beautiful Ubara girl. I said, I think this will be very good for me as my girlfriend. You know, those days in our side there, Brahman girls were very few. So when I saw this one, I said, she's not surviving. So to make her know that this guy is a very, very, very potential future husband, I told her, when I form a company, when I finish, we'll set up a company with you, and we'll call it Joada. Now, see, that time the only C was called Ada, and I'm Joel. So Joel and Ada to form Joada. You should have seen how excited this woman was. I think even that day when I proposed marriage, she was accepting. She saw a potential future husband. Ladies, are you listening? Huh? Luckily enough, I kept my word, married her, and she's actually our director for finance and administration. When I'm not in office, and we ran the company, two of us, from 2000 when we came up with the name. So with that, I now say, as soon as I'm done in my 4th year, I must look for a job. 1 year with a contractor, 1 year with a consultant, then I will understand which area I want to go. Whether as a consultant or as a contractor. Next page. So luckily enough, when I finished campus in 2004, I got a job. Now that photo, I took it on my day 1 when I got employed. That was me. Now I got a job on a road construction project in Jinja. And when I was leaving to go there, actually this company had done industrial training with them, and they really liked me. So he kept on checking me, have you completed campus? So when I was done with my final exam on Friday, I called him. I said, hey Michael, I'm done with my papers. So he said, oh, if you're done, please on Monday, you come. So I finished campus on a Friday, on Monday I started work. But on the Sunday when I was driving to Jinja, took a taxi. Now, that time there were very few universities which were doing engineering. I think Makera was even maybe 1 or 2. So we had that pride, civil engineer from Makera. I even put for myself the minimum salary. I said the minimum I will accept is 5 million. So on Jinja Road as we were going, I saw some car bonds. I told myself, 2-3 months from now, I won't wander there. So I reached on Monday, I reported to Michael, went to his office. He told me, yeah, I like how you trained with us, and you're not going to be our quality control engineer. Big title. You'll be in charge of the laboratory. When we're doing roads, there's a lot of lab tests. You'll be in charge of the laboratory, and there are 40 workers there, you'll be supervising them. And Joe, you're still a young engineer, so I'll be paying you 500,000. My ears carry 500, but my mind said 5 million. When the reality hit me, I almost wanted to walk from Zeta to a road. I said, how can they pay me 500,000? Now that was my first check and balance. I was checking. But then I remembered my 2003 resolution. I am here to learn how construction is done, how people learn, how people run construction companies. So I continued working, went with my work. I would be at the office up to 10 at night because I wanted to learn. Every document that company had, I made sure it was in my computer. Because you need documentation, isn't it? Some of these documents companies generate them for several years. But if I can have them now, well and good. So after end of 2004, I realized this was enough for me. I decided to jump. Next page. I now got a job with a German consultancy company in Aita. You remember I did 1 year for construction. Now I did 2 years with the Germans. Now that is me. This one here with the crew. That was me, the German, that's my boss. He really liked me. Because I decided, he gave me advice. He said, as an engineer, learn, design softwares. He said, there are many people who will do supervision. But you, as an engineer, you must learn, design softwares. So I learned so many design softwares. And because of that, my salary always kept on increasing until 2007, when I said, I must resign. I've worked enough. I must start Jawada concert. Just like that. But I planned it properly. Because also around that time, I got married now. Officially. Properly. Paid all the cows. But now I said, I'm getting somebody's daughter. No salary. What am I going to do? I'm going to start a new company. No longer they're paying me. So I said, okay, let me do a calculated risk. The house I was staying in, I was paying 250. It was a 2-bedroom house, a very decent house. 250,000. This was 2007. I paid the rent for 1 year. From my savings. Paid rent for 1 year. That was around 2 point something, around 3 million. Now, because I now got married, paid medical insurance for 2 people. 1 year. House is sorted. Health is sorted. Then at Gulu University, those who know Gulu very well, they had a restaurant called S&S. Up to now, it's still there. They've actually expanded it now. It's like a mall. But it was a tiny little restaurant. Now, S&S used to allow students to pay for their food for the whole semester. You bring your money, you pay. I think the plate was 2,500 that time. Times 2, that is 5,000. Times 365. I cleared that one. It was coming to around that because of 2 million. So I paid 1 plate for 1 person, for 2 people, for 1 year. I now knew at least we will be able to eat once a day. If the worst comes, the worst. Hospital is sorted out, rent is sorted out. I went to my boss, I put my resignation letter. I said, boss, I'm leaving. We had got a new project in Kampala to do a huge water project in Kampala. So my boss wanted, once we're done with Entebbe, by July 2027, we will now go to Kampala. I had different ideas. July 2007, I walked out in a very good way after giving 6 months notice. I walked out. I even trained a young guy. And in my 2-bedroom house, we converted a sitting room initially. But then after that, I went and rented another 1-room office in Kisubi, which became our first office. Go to the next page. Now there, I was seated in the office. I was the only employee. My wife was already pregnant. I think I was also too fast. Married her like this and became pregnant. So she was staying at home. We started working here. And because of the experience I got from this job, I could do a lot of designs. I could do a lot of tender documentations. So I was able to pick up from there. Started bidding. Somebody kept on telling me, these jobs are for Manyankolo. I said, no, let me try first. This is the small ones who will take it. And besides, I think that is a loser's statement. Let me try first. So we started bidding for jobs. We bid, they will throw us out definitely. Now, the easiest thing to do was, you see, my friend told me, this job is for me. But instead of doing that, I'll go to the procurement officer. Because the PPDA law allows you to go and get the briefing. They're supposed to tell you why have you not got the job. It's a report. It's according to the law. So I'll go to this guy and say, can I have the debriefing report? And then the guy will give me the report. And indeed, They asked for birth certificate. I didn't have it. They asked for trading license. I didn't have it. They asked for tax clearance. I didn't have it. You see, it's no longer now Munyakole job. It is my lack of documents which kicked me out. Even if they wanted to give the job to somebody else, I make their life easy. Isn't it? So I come back and start looking for those documents. The next time I apply again, they throw us. I go, why have you thrown? I want debriefing. This time, VAT was there. It's not now any issue. Trading license was there. Not longer issue. Tax clearance was there. No longer any issue. But then, they had asked for a team leader who has a master's in civil engineering. I didn't have that one. So I went to my lecturers. I said, can I have your CV? I'm looking for a job. And they started giving me their CVs. So I had a PhD, master's. My documents started increasing. I will apply again. They don't give us the job. I go for debriefing. They say, you don't have experience. Now why do I buy experience? At that point, if you're not strong-hearted, you run away. Then I decided to leave central government ministries. I went to local governments now. Because I realized the competition in local governments were less. And the jobs are smaller. I had all the other documents except experience. Then I read in the tender document, it says, you can go into joint ventures with other companies to enhance your experience. I said, Now what does joint venture mean? It means his company has 10 experiences, my company has 0. If we go in joint venture with his company, our joint venture has 10 experiences. You get it? So I went to a lecturer, he's called Dr. Muchukumbia. That time he was doing his PhD. So I had a company called Muchu Consult. So I put Muchu Consult in joint venture with Joanna. Muchu said, I'm too busy for this job. When you win the job, just bring for me some 5 million, 2 million, but you do the job. So we applied. We applied somewhere, I think in Raqqa, for a water project. We won the job. That was my first project. We won under bid. Can you give me a big hand clap? This was under bidding. We were now. This was like after 10 times trying. Persistence. Now, I hope you are summarizing the points, because before you know, I will have finished talking. Now, next page. Now, that was me. Small contracts, 10 million, 15 million, doing gravity flow schemes, and they will do the work ourselves. Small projects, 5 million, 10 million, 5 million, 10 million. But these are jobs within 2 weeks you're finished. Then one day, National Water wanted to, Jomai wanted water in their estate in Seguku. They have a big estate in Seguku. So they wanted water to be taken there. Now this has to be designed for the pipe size, what size will be pulled, and all that. So Jomai goes to National Water. National Water tells him, what's your budget? He said, I can only spend maximum 60 million for the design. But the bigger consultancy companies were charging 300 million because of the experience. Jomai said, no, I cannot spend more than 60 million. Then the National Water people remembered, oh, there was this young engineer who worked with his Germans in our water project in Aita. Why don't we call him? He used to be a good designer. So they called me. They said, can you do some project for Domaya at 60 million? I said, yes. This was so big for me. The biggest. So I accepted. Jomai calls me, and in Entebbe I jumped to the taxi, said, our consultant, and his voice was very humble. You know the word consultant is not a simple thing, isn't it? When they say consultant is coming, you know this is a very rich guy, he's a very old guy. Consultant is supposed to be elder. But I was 27 years old, and I think you saw my size. I was very tiny. And the consultants usually see the scars. They must see this bench. Very nice one, isn't it? That's what comes to your mind when they say consultant. Here, I was now going to the site. Jumped on the taxi. There's a stage there called Gulu stage. I dropped off from there. I paid for a border. And the guy was flying with me to the hill. In the middle of the road, midway, the fuel got finished. Jomai is already waiting for me. So I walked. I reached there, I was dusty. I was sweating. Jomai looked at me. He was startled. He said, you're the consultant. What do you do with your money? Remember, I didn't have money. The guy lectured me for 20 minutes. How I should present myself. Branding. Personal branding. How I should present myself. By the end of the 20 minutes lecture, the man cut my money from 60 million to 40 million. He said he doesn't know what I do with my money. I always tell people I went to the most expensive school where I was paying 1 million per minute. After 20 minutes, I paid 20 million because I did the brand very well. You're coming to look for a job. You're going for an interview, or you're going for a tender, or you're going for a business deal, and you don't look like the deal you're going to do for. Just know you're going to miss a deal. Personal branding, company branding. How do you package yourself? Even if it is just looking for employment, how is your CV? I have university students who always write applications to me. They send me an email, then somebody, hi. I stop there. I don't read that email again. Hi, I would like to, this two. I would like to apply. I said, oh my goodness. Right. How do you package yourself? Employers are receiving thousands of CVs. How comes your CV? Unfortunately, I didn't put my CV here. If you see my CV, it's one page. One page. But in most cases, when I'm applying for a consultancy, individual consultancy, sometimes I don't get a job. Because that one page is too loaded. Too loaded. The CV. But the point is, can you do your CV? That they said, yes, this is it, what you want. Can you brand yourself in a proper way? It can be personal workout. You see me in gyms and these things. Wait when I'm meeting with clients. I'm in serious suit. Proper serious suit. So after that serious discussion, lesson given by the man, I accepted still 40 million. Did the work quickly. In 2 weeks' time it was done. It was as good as the consultants of 300 million because those consultants actually use the younger people to do the work. So I did a very good job. Last month I was excited. When they paid my 40 million, I went and I bought, I'm sure you younger people may not know, there's a Toyota called Chikumi. Toyota Chikumi. Who knows it? Those who know, if you're not married, we'll have a meeting after this. So, I got that cooling. Let me tell you, that car moved all over the country. Need for their lot. Next week. Then the company started growing. The company started growing. We started getting more jobs. And I want people to thank David for me. He was one of my first employers. I went as a very young man. I presented an idea to him in a hospital. He said, wow, I got a contract for that. And they sold me all over Uganda. I ended up doing all regional referral hospitals in Uganda. The master plans for regional referral hospitals. And what to do? Mulago Hospital. The expansion of Mulago Hospital, you see there? The Women's Hospital Mulago, that is also my project. We basically moved across the country. And then we moved on to things across the country. Right now we're in 6 African countries. After we finished the ACE project here, we got 5 universities in Malawi. We just finished another ACE in Malawi, where we finished 5 universities. And those 5 universities were given to us because of this project in Gulu. Mozambique, Rwanda, we've been in Rwanda since 2012. We've been doing a lot of projects in Rwanda since 2012. So it kept on expanding. Next page. We kept on expanding. The office kept on growing. The business kept on growing. The clientele base kept on increasing. Next page. We even started doing projects where the presidents will come and hand over. Here, NRL people were telling me, how can you be the red? But the money is not in the yellow. So, next. From that smaller office, we're now here. In Entebbe residents voted my office as the best office in Entebbe. I told them, you guys, what's the problem with number 1? But I want to motivate you. I hope I'm motivating you. Yes. From these pictures. Yes. Next. These are part of our administrative staff. Now in Entebbe, from the small one-room office, we now came in our own building, owned by us, built by us, and it is our home. And this is our administrative team. Next. That is our headquarters. One-room office in 2007. That's where we are now. Next. The lady in Itanga, that is actually the vice president of Liberia. I brought her here. She came and opened our headquarters. Now, because she was a VIP, but I invited her as an individual. So initially I thought this was a private visit. But after a month to visit, I said, hey, but this is not an ordinary private visitor. What if something happens to her here? Let me inform government. When I wrote the letter, somebody was studying. To the president's office, I said, okay, no problem. 1 week too, I made a journalist to create a news, breaking news. Vice President of Liberia is coming to visit. Oh, the phone calls I received. But I had my letter. He said, 1 month ago I wrote. He said, oh, okay. We will have this as a state visit. It became a state visit. They gave us 1 presidential motorcade. My car was also in the middle there. They took over the expenditure in London. We paid for like 20 rooms. They were like, the lady was here for 4 days. People were shocked. How could this We have done projects in Rwanda from 2012 up to now, executing projects. And that is the President of President Kagame and his wife. Other photos from President of Malawi, President of Mozambique, President of Ghana, who've been able to do all these projects. Actually, like around 3 or 4 presidents. We chat with them on WhatsApp. Starting from home, one room. My parents are retired teachers. Retired what? Teachers. So there was no connection. But these networks, you build them with time. Next. Then we started winning awards. For one, actually in my office, I have a cupboard for awards. Individual awards, company awards, we put them inside. Next. Now, if you go to our website, since 2007 up to date, we have been able to complete around 300 infrastructure projects. Now, how is it possible? First, I always say, your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. Who are the people in your network? How do you network? How do you create these networks? It can be through friends, it can be through associates, it can be whatever. I remember those days. I told myself, in Uganda, how do you win a job? It's through procurement officers. They're the ones who give a job. So when I knew one procurement officer, I'll make sure he introduces it to another one, introduce to another one, another one. But you don't get their introduction when you see them advertise a job. No. You meet them before they advertise a job. You become their friend. Network. I'll give you one story about a guy called Abdallah. Abdallah used to police suits for the king of Saudi Arabia. He works in the king's palace. But his only job was police suits. Now the king had one annual event where he chooses one servant and they award you cash or equivalent of $1 million. So this particular year, 2023, it was Abdallah's time. The king said, I like how you police my suits. So Abdallah this year, the award is going to you, but within a week you should choose whether you want the 1 million cash or you want something worth 1 million. Monday register, Abdallah was going to come. Tuesday, Wednesday, the other workers will say, Abdallah, what's wrong with you? You go and tell the king what you want. But Abdallah was quiet. Then on Thursday, Abdallah walks to the king. He said, my king, I've come to tell you what I want. Now, every Friday after the Juma prayers, the king addresses the nation. On TV, it's live, everyone watches it. So Abdallah says, tomorrow, during your speech in the mosque, the only thing I want you to do, I don't want your $1 million or a house worth $1 million. I just want tomorrow, in the middle of your speech, you point, you say, Abdallah, can you come? Then I will walk. You whisper something in my ears, I whisper to your ears, you nod your head. Everyone say, Abdallah, you're stupid. They don't want to let you. The king says, is that all you want? He said, yes, that's all I want. He said, okay, that's your wish. I'll give you. So Abdallah went and bought a very nice kanju, very nice suit, and he had some business cards. You know these business cards which have about Aita. There's all your name. The telephone number. So in the middle of the speech, the king said, hi, Abdallah, can you come? Hey, everyone is looking. Who is this? Is this not the guy who polices? Abdallah walks majestically. The mosque was quiet. Then the king he said, tomorrow we choose a new policy for me. Abdallah says, the black one. He said, okay. Abdallah went outside. After the end of the prayers, everyone came to Abdallah. Said, you know that is an official guy the king listens to. That is what? By Saturday, Abdallah had $100 million in his account. Your network is your network. Whom do you associate with? If in your network right now, you list it down right now. If your network has 9 broke friends, you know very soon you're going to the 10th. You list them. Huh? List them down. If they reach 9 and they're all broke, you do exam this evening. You can't all be broke. So who is in your network? Who is in your network? Interestingly, some of these can just be created online. I'm very active on Twitter. I like not controversial statements, more development ideas. So in a month, I normally get followed. I mean, people who watch what I post, close to around 3 million a month. Now, I don't know many of them. But the day in the morning I'm not posting, I will receive over 50 messages. Are you okay? Now, who are those guys? They decide to follow me. They have created a network. They will ask questions on your DM. You'll be very surprised. How actually these people have time. The people who will think they don't have time, they actually have a lot of time. You'll be very, very surprised how a whole Elon Musk can reply to your message. So sometimes we think these people are so unapproachable. It's not true. These people are very approachable. Reach out to them. Whom do you follow? Who is your mentor? You see, it's so unfortunate that in Uganda, people look up to politicians. Isn't it? People look up to politicians. Bring a politician here and a businessman here. The businessman is employing 1,000 people. The politician is employing man, but he knows how to talk. People will follow the politician. They will leave the businessman here. You even go for events, the politician will talk, isn't it? Yes. Who do you follow? Who is your mentor? That is very, very key. Who is your mentor. Get for yourself a mentor. My day starts at 4 a.m. every day. 4 a.m. My eyes are up. Now what do I do? I have like around 5 mentors. I like to follow them online. These are the ones I cannot reach out to, but I follow them online. People like Elon Musk. We had late Chris Kirubi, Strive Masiwa, the stubborn one, Donald Trump. I like to follow. What are they writing? What is Strive Masiwa writing? Strive is the richest Zimbabwe, based in South Africa. Strive Masiwa. I think he's the owner of Liquid Telecom. Every time he's writing something, either on Twitter or on Facebook. So I like to, every morning, I like to moderate. What are these guys writing? Mentor. So some of the mentors, you don't even see them physically, but you can be able to learn from them because they're open. They're able to write things. Before Chris Kirubi died in Kenya, every post of his he made, I'll read it. Who is your mentor? You will find these mentors will actually make it seem simple. They will make it seem you can do it. Okay, yes. You know it is simple. What you thought you couldn't do, you start doing it. I've seen that. We've seen many people who thought they couldn't do business are actually doing business. It can be professional business, like what I'm doing. It can be whatever business. And as I conclude, I've written a book on entrepreneurship. So I've written a book on entrepreneurship. It's very practical. A lot of the stories I've been telling you, among others, in that book. So I told the US that I want to donate 10 copies for Gulu University. Library. If you guys want, one borrow and read. It will help you, and you love it. Finally, we want to see many entrepreneurs inside here in this room. You can follow me on my Twitter page, Joel Aita. If you want us to chat more, discuss more ideas, or you follow more ideas on my page. And I wish you guys well as you come out to the world. And I want to see millionaires in this